This is, I've had general managers tell me the two most important positions on the football team, quarterback and whoever runs after the quarterback.
Right.
Whether it's a defensive end, defensive lineman, whoever that is.
Right.
Two most important positions in the game. For the life of me, I could not figure out why Cincinnati wasn't coming after Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah.
And I know Lou Anarumo is supposed to be this, and what a wonderful job he's done in a very short time in completely transforming that Bengals defense.
Mm-hmm.
But he consistently brought 4 players. And we know what makes Mahomes great is the risk that he might take off, because we already know about him. He's an all-time great reader of defenses.
Right.
He's an all-time great running through his progressions.
Mm-hmm.
He's figured out arm angles to throw the football, which has never been done before, sometimes underhand. He's a great thrower of the football. But if he was just a thrower of the football, like he was yesterday, he's beatable if you come after him.
Mm-hmm.
And they kept coming with 4 guys.
And sometimes it's so annoying because they're getting there. They're getting there a step late. So you talk yourself into thinking, we're there, we're almost there. But see, coaches don't understand how difficult it is. And I'll give this to Jadeveon Clowney. I'll give him credit for this one. You don't know how difficult it is to rush a quarterback by yourself and have to win. Yes, you're supposed to, but when you come in and it's one-on-one, like people will talk about it, like when you are a guy, Donovan Mitchell went for 70.
Right.
But when you go for 70 and it's ISO 70, ISO 70 is different from Steph Curry coming off screens for 70, right? Because I got to pound and I'm getting fouled. I'm at the free throw line.
Right.
I got to play defense. It wears your legs out. So when you get in sacks at that high level and you can get an occasional blitz and a quarterback run right into you, you take that.
Yeah.
Or you can get a clean look because the offensive line are confused. You'll take it. But when you got to keep hammering home and you got to keep this guy in front of you, that's when things break down and that's when things actually happen. Like the penalty. You've been running all day against Patrick Mahomes, and you're there, and then you just do something stupid.
I kept screaming at the TV all day. I said, "Bring some heat."
I couldn't.
I said, "Bring some heat."
Thought Joe Woods.
I said, "Bring some heat."
I thought Joe Woods had taken Lou Anarumo's spot, and it just looked like this rudimentary. Let's rush forward. Now, from jump, they had to know that Patrick wasn't okay.
Right.
Patrick himself said after the game, of course I wasn't myself. You could watch it and see everything they did with him was drop back,
stay
couple
right in
of
here.
steps,
Stay right in here.
move within the pocket.
Get it out of here. Get it out your hands.
But the one time he had to throw the football on the run,
You see, he was coming up limping.
you saw what happened afterwards. I thought he was going to come out of the game. They let him pick a spot and throw from that spot, and he picked them apart. He had over 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. And he literally, it was like, here's what a buddy of mine were texting during the game, and I said, I'm watching a golfer play with a 3-iron off the tee and beat the hell out of everybody. He couldn't use his driver, and he was still better than everybody else.
And when you watch that game, not only was he not 100%, Kelce wasn't 100%.
No, he wasn't.
You saw that they just put the play in. He said, they had a play called when the first touchdown with Kelce. Kelce was supposed to run a post corner. Then Jesse Bates
when his man bit.
Jesse Bates knew it. He ran the route for him.
He did.
And all Kelce had to do, I'm going to just sit it down. And Mahomes was like, I can't get it over there anyway. My leg hurt too. So they just throw the ball, ad-lib, and get a touchdown. And it's just, these are the type of plays that happen when you get a quarterback and a guy. These are all-time great players. I'm sitting here telling you, when you smell blood in the water, your goal is not to lighten up. You have to play harder. You got to bring more pressure and say, Patrick, I'm going to shake your hand, buddy. If you beat us on one leg and we bring in 7, 8 people and you can find the right route with 3rd receivers, 5th receivers, and the tight end of Kelce that's hurt, I'm going to clap it up for you and say you're the best to ever do it.
And I give credit to Kansas City's defense that, especially early, they knew that we've got to get pressure on Burrow. We can't let Joe Burrow stand back there and pick us apart either.
Yep.
I think they had 4 sacks.
They was coming with heat. Now
they brought it.
Now Cincinnati corrected that in the second half.
They did.
They're like, no. We'll sit P. Ryan in here.
I thought from an in-game coaching standpoint,
Cincinnati was on. Was on point.
Taylor made some brilliant changes within the game plan. The one thing that they didn't do that I thought they should have was they should have brought more heat, particularly when they had him wounded. When a boxer is on the ropes and he's staggering,
got to keep heat.
You don't go to the body. You take the fuse box.
You got to go.
And we're looking at Mahomes, and he's wobbly, and they're throwing body punches. No. You go for the fuse box. Get him on the run. Make him beat you with this. I told you, he had 8 yards rushing and 5 of them on that last play.
Jay, he tweaked his ankle again. People didn't even see it. When he fumbled the ball and he was going after the ball.
I saw that he was limping after that.
He went to plant to go back and tweaked his ankle again. The next 2 drives, they had nothing. And I'm sitting to myself thinking, he's ripe for the pickings.
And I tweeted in the group chat, this game is over.
Yep, you sure did.
And here's why. Because from the early fourth quarter on, it was obvious that the Chiefs had no receivers in the game.
None.
This is where you talk about they got a bunch of rookie defensive backs out there making plays. Kansas City does. You talk about like we're thrilled that we got Emerson in the draft right. Forget Delpit and forget Greedy Williams. Like Kansas City's got a bunch of rookie guys in the defensive backfield all making plays against world-class receivers.
Yeah.
And so it really shows you the depth of this organization. But the other thing was the reason I was kicking dirt on Kansas City was because all they had was Kelce. Cincinnati was doubling Kelce. They had a bunch of no-name receivers in the game with all the injuries they had, and it was obvious they weren't moving the ball. Then Patty throws the ball and loses it, and it's a fumble. And I even texted this, Joe is built for this situation.
Yeah,
this is how Joe has made his living both at LSU and in Cincinnati for 3 years.
Yeah.
And twice he's got the ball, and the game is in his hands. And I thought, well, that's it. This is Joe Cool, right? They keep telling me this is the guy. He throws a pick. He takes a sack on the next possession.
Yeah.
And the game is over.
Well, you have to couple that with just this, the fact that, this is not Nintendo, right? You had other people on the other side of the ledger saying, this is not going down like that. Now you sprinkle in the other things, the fuel on the fire that was shoveled on all week by Cincinnati. And that, even when you're down and down, we're like, you're not getting me. Yeah. Now I got to make a play here. I'm gonna make a play here. This is not happening here.
How about the play that the defensive back made? Number 6.
Yeah.
Can't think of his name right now.
Yeah.
Baker. He had a bad penalty called against him.
Yeah.
And they may have had 2 bad penalties called against him or got burned on a play. He, on that tip drill interception, he's guarding an all-world wide receiver. He jumps up and knocks that ball, tip drill perfectly. Mm-hmm. And these are the kinds of guys that they had making plays out of the woodwork.
They had, a couple plays earlier, they had Chase. They ran the kind of stop, the in and go, and Jamar Chase jumps up and makes a catch between 2 of them.
Right.
So they say, listen, run that back, but we're going to run it with T. Higgins over here. Mm-hmm. They run the same route. He throws it up. It's a perfectly thrown ball.
Yeah.
He jumps up.
Great hand.
And he knew he wasn't in position to intercept the ball.
Because he hit avoid the helmet.
So he tipped it, he caught it, and I was just sitting there saying, that's when it hit me. I said, see, this is what it takes to win championships right here. You got to have people that you don't know nothing about that gonna make plays.
And they might not be big money. They might not be big money guys.
Who was the
But they don't want to be the guy that lets their team down.
It was the McDuffie guy. I don't know who he is.
He's a first-round pick this year, G.
He was
this guy.
Their defensive back who was their first
and he doesn't usually play the slot, but Snead got hurt, G. So
that's another thing. Snead's out of the game early in the game.
I think the third play.
I thought this is going to be a nightmare for Kansas City. And they're bringing guys out of the stands. And they're covering. And by the way, I want to credit T. Higgins for something.
Out of the stands?
This stuff never shows up in the box score. But T. Higgins, after that ball was picked, made a great play to make sure that the defensive back didn't get a big return.
Right, yeah.
Because he was going.
Because he had room.
They took him down to 14. I was like, whoa.
And he
that
took
was
him
big
down
time.
because T. Higgins was like, oh, no. I don't have much shot at him, but I'm going to do everything I can to knock this guy off his feet. Now, he stumbled and went down. That puts him down by contact.
Right.
But I'm telling you, if he doesn't lose his feet,
he got room.
They've got the ball at the 30 or 40 or who knows, maybe he takes it the distance because there was all kinds of
It essentially
space.
Turns that play from just an interception
to a punt.
Yeah. It was essentially
I said that's better than a punt.
And that's why, what your point in the chat was, both these teams have guys way deep on the roster making plays. That's an attitude. And that brings us to our last point on the AFC Championship game, and that's the Joseph Asai point.
Yeah.
Played a great game.
Yeah.
I think he's a second-year player, if I'm not mistaken.
Second-year player out of Texas.
Yeah.
Great young player. It played such a terrific game. I felt so badly for him. I mean, crying on the sidelines after the game. Clearly, you've got to know where you are and where your opponent is. Mahomes is 2 feet out of bounds. He's clearly got both hands on him, and he's going to give him a shove. That turns what would have been a 60-yard desperation field goal into a 45-yarder. He's been hurt this year. He's missed a lot of kicks that he normally makes. His range used to be much further than it is. I think that's all based off the injury. But literally, him shoving Patrick Mahomes in that spot put Kansas City in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
he pushed Kansas City into the Super Bowl.
I can't get mad at Asai, right? I mean, he made a play in the heat of the game, right? So, and what I really appreciated was Taylor's comments after the game. He said, "We're not blaming it on one play."
Some of them were.
They said there were a multitude of plays that could have been made here, right? So we won't say it bait on one play. Now, it didn't help.
No.
But it wasn't. But
one of his defensive teammates
sole cost
was caught yelling into the
Jermaine Pratt.
Jermaine Pratt said as they were going into the locker room, "He's out of here. He's not back next year. Why are you pushing the quarterback? Why are you putting your hands on the quarterback?"
Well, listen here.
Now that's heat of the moment stuff.
You always gonna get a fool or two saying something, right? Listen, you've been in this. If you've been,
that's kind of a J.R. Smith move, though.
Yeah, but
how do you overcome that?
But if you've been playing in sports long enough,
it's heated.
Certain things happen, right? And you have to give grace to that, right? Because the ones it always kills me. The ones that always got something to say ain't nowhere to be seen when it's time to make a play here, right? It wasn't like he went. It wasn't like he went to do it. You see what I'm saying?
No, I know, but Brad, it was a stupid play.
Nobody said it was brilliant. I'm saying things happen.
I know, but you're exonerating. You're basically giving him a free pass.
Well, I'm saying, here I could go down a list of things.
Sure.
Red right eight here.
Well,
red right.
it's never one thing.
Red right here.
One thing.
Here, would Lenny Wilkins put Nance on me and not on Jordan?
Yeah. No, I know.
Okay. Things happen.
I know.
I'll tell you from this perspective.
Things happen.
That's funny.
That's a great example.
That is so. You know what? I was looking at it from this. See, this is another greatness of Patrick Mahomes. Shout out to we had a little quarterback, little guy from Chillicothe, Ohio, at OU. His name is Adam Porter. And he said, he big Browns fan. Shout out to him. He probably might be watching. He said, listen, G. Bush. See, there's 3 things that all quarterbacks do. All savvy quarterbacks. We know y'all, right? There's 3 things that quarterbacks do to defensive linemen, and it's age old. 3 things that you can do to just make D linemen look dumb. The first thing is pump fake. It don't even matter if you pass the line of scrimmage. All you do this, and we go jumping and moving around. He said he ran for 25 yards. Why are you jumping? This is a little bit of that. Another thing, give him a leg, a little stop and go. See, you might be right next to him, and all they do is stop. Oh, I'm right around you. Look, why would you stop your feet when you stop it? I know you're already faster than me. You got to meet him at an angle. And the third thing they do, and they are great at this, since quarterbacks are running quarterbacks, what they do is they play the tiptoe game on the sideline. See, when you chasing somebody from behind, and you done try to chase this dude, and you been here all you this close, you can smell his breath, and he running out of bounds, and he done invaded you. See, he's right by these sidelines. You don't have no perception of how fast you going and how far he is out of bounds. All you see is the upper version. And so when he does this, Patrick Mahomes feel you bearing down on him, he's still technically in bounds. But by the time he slow up on you, and now all of a sudden he step out, he 2 feet out of bounds, and you don't even recognize it. That's why the guy in front of him, if you show that, he's saying to him, no, don't do it, big fella. But you can tell, it's almost like a dog seeing red. It's the fire hydrant. It's you chasing him. And Patrick Mahomes, you know how many 15-yard penalties they give out on that play alone? Because all you got to do is tiptoe. And then, I'm over here. Look, I'm in bounds. No, I'm not. That's 15 every time. Then he rolled all the way over with his back. His stomach was out. And he already hurt his ankle. He sold his soul for that 15, and he got it. He knew he had one play.
Gee, so that's funny, right? Because the same thing happens in basketball. You ever seen when a young guy gets up on a veteran play, he gonna check him real tight,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Oh, so now I'm just going to the line and just to get a little body on him, and then I'm gonna scream like this by the referee. Oh!
Hey!
Oh!
Hey!
He goes to the line.
Hey!
Why he so? Karis LeVert did it a couple weeks ago, didn't he?
Too close.
You too close.
That's
You
a
too
15.
close.
When he was chasing him, and then my thought was, he's a young player. I said Patrick Mahomes done baited him. He knew he was already hurt. He knew his ankle was beat up.
Yeah.
Now he thinking, okay, say for instance that penalty didn't happen, right? It was still like 8 seconds
Still
or
8
something
seconds
like
in the
that.
game.
So there was no way he could come in and throw the ball or do nothing. He used his whole life force on that play and said, I need some more points.
Imagine, too, if they're kicking a 60-yarder. Jay Feely had said a number of times during the telecast that Butker was short from 55 in that direction.
Right.
So I don't even know if you try a 60-yarder.
He's throwing a pass at that.
So somebody, I mean, I don't know, do you bring Henne in? Does Mahomes have a quick two-step drop and a quick hit to Kelce on the sideline to try to get 6 or 7 more? One way or another, without that 15 yards,
that was it. Ball game.
that game's going to overtime. And to your point, Mahomes is now banged up even more.
I was like this. I said, okay, here comes overtime. They just got to wind this thing out. That's why when Asad was chasing, everybody was screaming like this in slow motion. You ever seen slow motion?
Everybody.
And this is a good coaching point for the coaches out there. See, when y'all talk about situational football, see, this is the problem. He was on that sideline crying because he knew what he did after the fact. But this is where coaches need to be talking in these huddles. Guys.
Nothing stupid.
These guys are going to need to get out of bounds.
No.
We don't need it. Listen, let them get out of bounds. No 15.
Late hits on the quarterback.
No late hits on the QB.
That's not just the coaches. It's like being in the huddle. It's like, come on, don't give up a 3.
Right.
Don't give up a 3.
Right.
No fouls.
Yeah.
No fouls.
Now you're right. The smart players and the leaders are doing that in the huddle. However, it can trickle from the coaches when you're in training camp in August. Situational football, guys. When we're in situational football, and maybe, by the way, the Browns made a mistake that cost them a game this year, and I hate to bring this up because it was Nick Chubb. But if Nick Chubb falls on the 1-yard line, who knows how their season unfolds?
Jay, so when you're in situational football, situational sports, what's the first thing you checking? The clock.
Down and distance, the clock, the situation.
What do we have?
I mean,
and then I go to, okay, here are the options. Somebody has to be like, don't do this.
Okay, so it's 4th and 1, and we know they're going to try to, don't jump.
Right. Don't jump.
Statue defense. Everybody hand in the dirt till you see the ball move. Nobody moves. In this case, don't hit the quarterback late. We can't give 15 free yards. Don't pass interfere.
Right.
Unless it's going to be a touchdown. Don't hit a guy going out of bounds.
And sometimes, and I'm sure they do this, but this is a great teaching point in training camp. You showing this. Put it on film. Guys, this has happened this year. Some point in time, some point in time is going to happen. You're chasing as a defensive lineman. Always understand where the quarterback is by the sidelines. We always err on the side of running and chasing him out. And don't touch him. Don't use your hands. Chase him as if you're trying to put your body on his body, but we know hands, right? And so that way you don't push and pull and 15 yards. Because at the end of the day, those 15s are the only thing that can win that game, that penalty.
That's it.
So where doesn't that feel good today? Cincinnati, baby. Cincinnati don't feel good today,
Could you
baby.
imagine watching the game?
I'd be sick.
Let's role play. You're the mayor of Cincinnati. You're watching the postgame show, and you see Travis Kelce take the mic from Jim Nantz and say, I want to give a shout-out to the mayor of Cincinnati. Know your role. Shut your mouth, jabroni. What was going on in the mayor's household in that instant?
First thing you need to grab Twitter and do all the blocking. Turn off Twitter.
You know that meme where Homer Simpson just backs into the bushes? Want to get away?
Need a Snickers.
He needs to do a Southwest commercial, Southwest Airlines commercial. Want to get away?
Yeah, that was the want to get away commercial.
Yes.
Hey, he just told his campaign manager it's gonna be a rough one. It's coming.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a rough one.
When's re-election? And now, the mayor of Cincinnati office has been involved in the following situations.
Look, hold on. What did he say? That little Lassa? The mayor came at me. The mayor came at me.
The mayor came at me, man. And so I've said all week, I'm like, they're just writing checks that
I was
they
like,
can't
why are you
cash.
doing that?
And it's not just the players.
Hey, man.
So the mayor of Cincinnati, once upon a time, was Jerry Springer. He wrote a check to pay for a prostitute. Mm-hmm. Another mayor of Cincinnati threw out what is widely regarded the worst first pitch in the history of the game. McNuggets, can we get that? Because
The
that's
mayor's
that's
first pitch? Yeah, let me see if I can find it.
Cincinnati mayor's first pitch. I believe Eric Davis, the former Reds great, was going to catch the ball. It was so bad, he threw it, I believe, up the first baseline. And Eric Davis looks around like, what the hell? Is that the first time you've ever held a baseball?
He just went out there and
And
tried
now
to shake his hand.
the mayor's office of Cincinnati has given us
Yet
Danny
another.
Gate.
I mean, this is
Like-
When he said it, Jay, I was like,
I thought it was a spoof.
I was like,
said,
what?
that man's not the mayor of Cincinnati. There's
I was
no
like,
way
that
that a
can't
real
be.
mayor would do that.
I said, nobody would do that. Who does that?
I don't know why he would. Here's the thing. I just tell people like this, man.
I'm
See,
looking it up now.
sometimes you get used to winning. Like the Bengals have a spotted history of being terrible, like along with the Browns, and have some bad years. But the Bengals have been good for the last couple of years. They've been making it. And sometimes you get comfortable, dog.
Well, listen, you weren't here last week when I was making this point. Tyvis, the debate was, are you okay with Eli Apple acting like he's all of a sudden Deion Sanders? And I kept saying, I'm very troubled by this. First of all, the Cancun on 3, I thought was winning with, you win with class, you lose with class. That was not winning with class. And what I hated about it more, the Cancun on 3, was the heart hand emoji. Mm-hmm. I thought that was, you're bringing DeMar Hamlin into this. That emoji is now the DeMar Hamlin emoji. That's what it's called. So to use that when he could have used a palm tree, he could have used a jet, he could have used a million other things. Cancun on 3, and he's kind of trolling Hamlin with the hands. I thought that was in poor form. Then he's lighting up a cigar after a divisional playoff win. And the point I made on the show last week was, save that for the championship game or the Super Bowl. You don't start lighting up cigars when you win a divisional playoff game.
You know what I
It was
thought?
a bad look.
You know, I thought he was Jay. When people do that, I be feeling like they getting ready for the podcast world. Maybe he just setting your next spot up. Like
he was trending all week.
Like he
so
was
maybe,
trending. He said you got a podcast.
But you know
coming
what?
out,
If I'm
dog?
one of his teammates, I go to him and say, "Shut your damn mouth till we win a Super Bowl."
Yeah,
Because, by the way, if you want to go back to the play that the Rams won the Super Bowl on last year, the man in coverage on Cooper Kupp on the winning touchdown was Eli Apple.
I don't.
So-
you know, there's one of them things, bro. Like sometimes.
I'm checking the comments for the Cincinnati mayor here right now, and some of the comments it said, some young lady wrote in and said, you talking to
The mayor?
talking to the Chiefs, said you won 1 of 4 games. The Cincinnati mayor's comments were foolish. They don't represent the great people of Cincinnati. They will prevent his reelection, though.
Do we have the other mayor of Cincinnati's
We
first
do
pick?
have the mayor, then we're going to pivot to little Cavs talk.
Okay.
Let's put a
What-
bow tie on this.
This is watch
wonderful
Eric
AFC
Davis.
Championship game with maybe the worst first pitch I've seen in a long time. Mike, take it.
Eric Davis was the Reds player picked to catch it.
Oh, bro.
Oh.
That man.
Look at him.
Ooh.
He just
He's like, what is going on here?
like, and the umpire.
The umpire
threw him
did.
out.
Umpire threw him out of the game, rightfully so. Look at this. First of all, his footwork was a mess. It's a balk.
Hey man, there was a little senior citizen in that.
I don't think he's that old. I think that wasn't that long ago.
No, that was over 20 years ago.
Was it?
Yeah.
I mean-
yeah. Eric Davis was there.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
I mean, I think it was in the 90s, if I'm not mistaken.
That man.
But, and then Jerry Springer was the mayor and famously paid for a prostitute with a check.
That's so funny how Jerry Springer got that off.
Hey, it was great for his career, wasn't it?
Like he won. Like he really won out.
Yeah.
He needs to win out to get in the
what?
playoffs. He
I'm
won out.
pretty sure that show is still on, the Jerry
No, it
Springer
is.
show.
it is.
is.
That
It
is
still runs. Still
mind-blowing
runs.
to me.
I don't understand. Like,
I haven't seen it in 20 years, but I bet there's going to be a fight on
hey
today's
man,
episode.
I remember that was the first tape that I went and tried to get my credit card and buy. I said Jerry Springer Beyond Dark. I said I'm gonna get this.